Fast Lawyer VR Reviews. For sexy VR reviews, hit the subscribe button. Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to review Vertigo 2 VR, a game that was released on the Steam store March 30th, 2023. This game normally retails for $30. I tested it out on the Meta Quest 2 using link cable, and I bought this game. Vertigo 2 is a FPS action adventure game. It's rated overwhelmingly positive on the Steam store, and for good reason. This is a great game. Kudos to the developer, Zach Siakalis Brown. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but this is a solo developer, a young developer, and when he first released the original Vertigo, I was impressed, and then he came out with the remastered version where he further expanded on his skills, and Vertigo 2 is really a continuation of the story from the first Vertigo adventure. If you loved Vertigo 1 remastered, then you're gonna love this game as well. It took me approximately 14 hours to complete the game, although I did try to explore as much as possible, and I'm not gonna lie, some of the bosses were fairly challenging. It took several attempts on my part. Overall, I had a very fun time playing this game. It's got a very strong narrative along with very engaging gameplay. It is a must play in my opinion and should be a very strong contender for VR Game of the Year. However, I do have some criticisms for this experience. But first, let's cover some basics for this game. It is running on the Unity engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting mostly 90 frames per second. I did have some frame rate drops, but there are lots of graphical options in here to set your preferences for how this game performs. However, several people on the Steam forums have reported optimization issues, so beware of that. You do have full locomotion along with teleportation, and in fact for this game you will need to use teleportation as a game mechanic, especially on the boss fights. You can play seated or standing. There is a button for crouching and for jumping, although I never used the jump button. There is moves and snap turning available along with the speed of the turns. There's several comfort options as well as camera options and domination. You can also choose the difficulty that you want. I played this game on normal difficulty. I do think the default walking speed is a bit too slow. However, there are console commands that basically let you cheat, and one of the cheats is the ability to walk faster. I don't like cheating or using console commands, so I didn't use them, but they are there if you want. Now, I did face some bugs while playing this game. The biggest bug that I faced was that I did experience several crashes. However, I hesitate here to blame the developer because I simply don't know who's at fault. Basically, Steam VR was crashing for me, and it happened a lot while playing this game. At this point, I don't know what the cause of the Steam VR crashes are, so I cannot blame the game's developer, but I thought I should mention it in case anybody else runs into this issue while playing this game. Another issue that I faced was that the gun angle was just a bit too high by default on my Meta Quest 2 touch controllers. Lastly, there was just a bit of jank overall. For example, using some of the levers or knobs while moving caused my hands to stretch, and not being able to keep the lever pulled or pushed, or crouching during battles when I didn't want to. And I do have some criticisms outside of those issues. And like I mentioned, I really I had a lot of fun playing this game, but certain sections weren't as fun as others. Some of the pacing was off in certain sections. For example, you can choose either the left-wing communist Russian-inspired Automata Collective, or you can join the right-wing fascist church. Naturally, I joined the Pinko Communist, and I instantly was happy with my choice because you get the AK-47 by choosing being the Communist. It's hands down the best weapon in the game, and this section is fun to do. And naturally, I was curious what happened if you joined the church. So I went to that chapter specifically to join the church, and I instantly regretted the choice, because not only do you not get the AK-47, you get a clearly inferior weapon, you get a very drab section of the game, perhaps the drabbest section of the whole game. I just found the combat, especially in this section, to be very repetitive and just not a lot of fun. And then you get to the boss fight, and this is perhaps also the worst boss fight in the game. That's just not fun to do, especially when compared to the alternate paths of the game. And I think the same can be said about the boss fights in this game. For the most part, I enjoyed most of them, and they are a lot of fun, and they're very challenging. They will challenge your skills. However, at times the bosses felt a bit too spongy, and they felt a lot like maybe MMO bosses, where you just have to repeat certain actions, you know, get your timings down, read the boss moves correctly in order to be able to progress through the fight. And honestly, I might be a bit biased, but I'm just not a fan of having to teleport. I would have appreciated like a sprint button or some other mechanic to make these boss fights more engaging. I also think the weapon balancing can be a bit better. I just found some weapons to be a lot more effective than others, and that the upgrades at times felt a bit underpowered and some of them felt a bit overpowered. Specifically, I did upgrade my SMG, and I thought when I got to the last tier it would be awesome, but it just never was. However, don't let my nitpicks dissuade you from buying this game. Like I said, in my opinion, this is a must play for any VR gamer out there. This is one of the best VR experiences you can buy, and honestly, I think the $30 price tag for this game might be a little bit too low for what it offers. You can tell that this developer not only loves VR, but that he plays a lot of VR, because this game is made for the VR game. It's a VR love letter, and it's a great experience with lots of magical moments, lots of great scenery, with very immersive gameplay, and of course it has several coaster rides along the way. But the only thing that was missing in this game that I truly expected to be there was a zip line ride. Come on, Zach. There's lots of goofy weapons that you can unlock, such as the portal gun or even a finger gun. There's lots of secrets to uncover, lots of things to look for, lots of amazing vistas in this game. There's lots of Easter eggs in this game, whether they are references to Half-Life or Portal or H3 VR. In fact, not only is Anton Hand one of the voice talents in this game, but it includes Taylor McVicker as well. And the voice acting in this game, along with the story, is excellent. I don't want to spoil the narrative, so I'm not going to really get into the game, but it is a continuation of the story from the first game. I personally found the story very intriguing. I thought it was funny, and I think it is the thing that really puts the game over the top. You really do feel like you are in this epic adventure, and not only is it hilarious, but it's a fun adventure, which really shows the power of VR. You are totally immersed in this VR world. And the musical soundtrack is excellent as well, along with the sound mix overall. From the ambient sounds to the spatial audio, it's really all here put together. Excellent. Surprising that this is just one very talented developer. So yeah, I highly recommend this game. It should be a strong contender for VR Game of the Year for 2023, and you have to rate it right now as is. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Keep in mind the issues I faced may be patched later on, so I could possibly score it even higher if those issues are fixed. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. This has been my review for Vertigo 2 VR. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.
Maharishi, hear my call. Greater Nesticles, God's Ward of the Blessed.
You wield a holy blade, but is your faith strong enough to use it? Let us find out. A human loyal to the Church of the High Good is certainly an